how, and I just would like, y'all can share, or maybe help us understand, how can the legislature, they've got an act, they've got a law in place, how can they, since 2009, or how can y'all, whoever's making this decision, just decide that we're not going to fully fund the local government fund? I mean, there is a law, there's a statutory, formula for doing it. How can our legislature just ignore it?
It was ignored through a proviso.
And
that is true. I mean, there's things done every day.
And what does that mean? I mean,
that means that a proviso lasts 1 year.
It's a law.
And it's a law.
That's
it's
how.
Yes, and it says, due to whatever during this time, there will be $30 million put on the line for.
So, I mean, and that helps. So the legislature feels comfortable enough to say, we're just going to ignore the law that we passed back whenever because of budgetary reasons, or, I guess in 2009 they felt like they were tight. This is what we need to do for 1 year. So now they've done it each year. Because it is, I mean, and we've talked to both of y'all and the other delegation members, it's affecting the citizens and our ability to do our jobs. Again, you look at Judge Caldwell. I mean, we sit there in her office. I mean, she is, and it's all the probate judges across the state, they're in the same boat. They're the ones that are serving the public in a time when they need to be taken care of as much as anybody ever. When the death of a family, you're trying to probate a will and go through all that, and the pain and problem. So the legislature, and whoever's doing this, by ignoring fully funding, the local government fund, they're impacting, Judge Caldwell, her staff, and the people who are demanding services. And that's what I don't understand. Why, have we not done our job? And I don't want to depend on the Association of Counties to sell our story. And that's what we talked about as a council. And we thought the first step, let's go to our delegation. Do we need to get all 45 other counties to get with us and make the same case to each delegation? Listen, this is what you're doing to us. Because if the federal government was doing the same thing to the state of South Carolina, saying we're not going to fund you like we said we were going to do, we'd be screaming and yelling.
Well, David, I don't think it just needs to be county councils. It needs to be the sheriff.
Well, that's right.
And everyone else is elected, because those are the ones that continuously are putting pressure on us and blaming us, and we're not blaming you.
Well, that's what we talked about doing, getting the sheriff's association and all 46 sheriffs, all 46 probate judges, assessors, auditors, every one of us, because it's impacting our ability to deliver the services that citizens of Spartanburg County and all the other 45 counties are paying for. And then what really irritates the fire out of me is that, when the budget y'all gets done, y'all find several $100 million extra.
State, well as anybody does. But there's a local government fund subcommittee. And just to be real honest with you, there's not an appetite in that subcommittee to really do more for local government, because they are not getting the information from your lobbyists that represent all the counties in the state. And when they come in and they say, we're going to be satisfied with $30 million because we know that if we ask for more, we're really going to get it. Well, how do you know? If you don't go in there and you ask, and how do you know that if Eddie Cowan or Rita Allison or Mike Forrester was sitting on that subcommittee, that somebody from that county sat down with them and said, hey, look, just like we're doing now, hey, look, this is what the real world is all about.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate y'all too for being here. It's a very important issue for Spartanburg. I am very, very concerned that, from what I'm hearing tonight, that we have a committee whose default position is to not follow the law. So they start off the bat, it's almost like you have to come before the throne and ask for money that we've mandated that you spend. And I just think it's outrageous, and I appreciate y'all for being here, because we have to have a voice. I guess the 7 of us could start going down to Columbia, but we're talking tens of millions of dollars that the people of Spartanburg County have paid twice. They pay to y'all to fund it, and they pay to us to fund it. But it only gets funded once. And I just think it's outrageous. I think that if we have a system where we just set the Constitution over here, and we start with a clean slate, saying everybody come in and beg for money, and the one that has the most representation wins is outrageous. And so I'm very concerned. And I hope that our delegation will commit to going there like Senator Martin did and go and stand up and fight. His was last minute. If we could get in on the ground floor like we've been trying to do for several weeks now, to get a voice up there that will say, no, we're not voting for this, we're not going for this, we're not moving one more step further until our counties are taken care of, because you represent the people right here in this room.